We all want new ways to get traffic to our website, especially the best kind of traffic, which is qualified traffic. And instead of just thinking about how do we target people with SEO and doing new keyword searches and all these different things, what are some of the other ways that we can boost traffic to our website? In today's episode, I'm going through a simple funnel that you can apply inside of your business, whether you're selling a high-end software, some kind of SaaS product, or you're selling services in a B2B format. My name is John Aikin. I'm the CEO of Web Canopy Studio, and this is the Website Conversion Show. Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to talk today about better ways to get traffic to your website. I know in the website world we hear a ton of discussion around SEO and how important SEO is to growing your revenue, growing your site traffic, and so on. And I absolutely agree that SEO is an absolute critical component to every website. However, rather than go down this rabbit hole of all these different SEO topics and trends and strategies and so on, I wanted to focus a little bit more today on some other kinds of resources for generating traffic, specifically boosting your traffic with really qualified contacts and really qualified people who are your perfect fit clients. Ideally, these are the kind of people that we could get to come to our website over and over and over again. And so as you can see here on the screen, I have the website conversion framework. Again, if you are listening, you can find a link in the show notes to the website conversion framework. But this is a pyramid graphic that we have, and ideally we're thinking about solving all of the problems at the lower end of this graphic and working our way out. And over the last several episodes, we've kind of gone through some different things with platform, with positioning, design, with nurturing and automation, and so on. And today we're talking about traffic and SEO, really zeroing in on ad funnel strategies. Ad strategies are generally looked at as something where we're spending a lot of money and not getting a lot of return, or they're looking at it more for brand awareness campaigns. Again, these are not necessarily a bad thing, but when we're thinking in terms of client acquisition, and we're thinking in terms of bringing the most qualified traffic that we can to our website to become a lead, to get them on a call or a demo with us, we need to rethink what ads are and how we can actually utilize them for great opportunities to generate our highest quality leads that we possibly could have. Who are the people who are doing the research online? Who are the people who are, looking up how to solve specific problems? When we're looking at higher end kind of companies and B2B, like enterprise level sales, your SEO is not targeted towards these kind of people. You might build your strategy around that, but at the end of the day, those people are not the ones who are going to be the ones doing all of the searching and trying to solve these problems. They have teams. They have people who work with them, who work for them, who are the ones who are going to be actually doing all of this research and so on. We've talked about buyer's journey before. We're talking about like the 3 different stages that people have to go through before they actually make a purchase with you. So what I've done is I've mapped out a pretty standard funnel for looking at an ad strategy. If I just take a moment to step back and kind of talk about where people are going wrong within ads right now, where I see a ton of SaaS companies just spending a ton of money that they don't need to, is around branded campaigns. So I see a ton of softwares spend thousands and thousands of dollars a month to buy Google keywords and to do like Facebook ads and and LinkedIn ads that literally just send people to their homepage or their about page. But that is not how we're going to capture the lead. So what you're going to look at when you review your data, when you review how your ads are performing, you're going to base your results on very low numbers because that's what you're used to. So you might be paying ridiculous amounts of money for clicks because who wants to click to go to a homepage of a product? that's not exciting or compelling to me, right? I have had clients that come to us and they're spending $200, $500, $800 per lead, and they justify it in the back of their mind because they're saying, oh, well, we have a high considered purchase and it might take 6 months to close that deal. So that's okay to spend that money. And in the back of your mind, yes, that's okay. However, we don't have to just focus on that. We don't have to just zero in on that kind of a strategy. So all that being said, I want to walk through this traffic campaign ad funnel strategy here on how we can get people to your website and what that might look like when we start to look at it at scale. If you are watching, you can see the slide that's up on my screen here. If you are listening, there will be a link to see this graphic to walk you through kind of how this looks and what's happening. So you can just kind of follow along with me for now. Feel free to click in the show notes to the link to follow this as well. But we're going to assume in this ad that we are running a budget of $5,000. Let's say you have $5,000 for your monthly ad spend, and we're going to target, today we're going to say Facebook ads, just because it's the most general, it's the easiest to just kind of describe in regular terms. What we're looking at would be thinking in a different context than the branded campaigns of what I just discussed, and I want to think about lead capture. Okay, a lot of you have seen different things, and you probably have done some of these lead capture campaigns already where we're like downloading a checklist or something like that, which is great. That's where I want your mind to be. And a lot of you have landing pages on your website now that you already give away stuff like this. Like, you download this 10-step checklist for XYZ. Here's our strategic guide to solving this problem. These are the kind of lead magnets that, when targeted to the right audience and positioned to the right people, will drive traffic at scale. And so this is where I would spend my ad budget. I'd spend $5,000 in this ad budget to target those kind of contacts. And for SaaS companies, some of you are doing this, most are not. And so this is very common in the world of info products, in the world of all these other things that we have going on. And so we're pretty comfortable, we're pretty familiar with seeing this kind of ad. In fact, you've probably clicked on them and done them yourself. So what I would do is have a very tailored ad. We're looking at Russell Brunson's methodology here of hook, story, and offer, and making sure that we're telling a very compelling story to get people to click. And so when we have a click, our ideal conversion rate or our ideal click would be a $5 click. At a $5,000 budget, let's say, I even think $5 a click is high. You could, might be less, it might be more. It's going to flush out as you move this over time and kind of massage it. But let's say you'd get $5 a click just to get people to click on your ad to go to your landing page. That landing page is an awareness stage offer. This is a lead magnet. This is something where you're, like I was saying, like a 10-step checklist. You're giving a template away to somebody. You're giving an assessment. You're giving something of value that solves an immediate problem. Okay? So let's aim for, let's say on that landing page, we can have a 10% conversion rate. Now, I know when some of you think about other ads that you're running that are more branded campaigns, the rule of thumb is probably 2%, something like that, 3% as an industry standard. However, when you look at landing pages around offers like this, the average conversion rate that we see is 30%. My best landing pages that are delivered to people at scale, at volume, even new visitors to our website, is 47%. And we have some that are not seen quite as much, that are at 50 or 60% in conversion rates. So 10% at this kind of an offer is not unlikely or unrealistic. So let's say we're at a 10% conversion rate. What that means is we have a budget of $5,000. We have 1,000 clicks at $5 a click. And now we have 100 leads because we're going to say 10% of those converted. Okay. Right there is where most people stop. So that is where we see, we'll have some general follow-up. Here's some information. Here's information about our company. Here's what you downloaded. We might put them in an email newsletter at that point, and that's essentially where most people are going to stop their ad strategy. But as you can see, we have all these other boxes that we need to walk people through before they can become a customer. We cannot think about ad strategies any different than we think about getting people to convert and do what we want them to do, which is take an action, take another action, and get on a call. Okay, so where we're skipping, where most people go wrong at this point, like I was saying, is they will just stop at this level. We have to introduce 2 more levels to them, and we have to walk them through a natural progression of engaging with our company. So the number one mistake that I see SaaS companies and high-end service provider companies go wrong, the number one place they go wrong, is not including a consideration stage in their marketing process. Everybody seems to skip over it, and it is the most critical piece, because you're not going to take someone from a complete stranger at an awareness stage, which is, I have this problem, right? This is a problem. Oh, this is a cool solution to a problem. You're not going to take someone from that stage to then, boom, book a call at scale. It's just not going to happen. It might at some amount, but it's very rare. And I think we all know that. Like you would never do that on your own, right? Especially if you were working at a company and this is a purchase on behalf of that company. So we have to put ourselves in the shoes of the people that we're talking to. So at this consideration stage, we need to have a campaign running. And if you're using HubSpot, you can track this very, very well. But a campaign that's running very tailored follow-up email workflows or nurturing, that we might be having a salesperson assigned to that lead as well. And that salesperson can either begin his or her own proactive outreach in email, maybe call if necessary. It might be too early for that, and it depends on how hungry your sales team is at that time. But the other thing would be maybe reaching out on LinkedIn. And so what we're doing is we're engaging these contacts at these different levels at this consideration stage, trying to get them to take that next step with us. And that next step to me would be engaging in a consideration stage video of some kind, a webinar, a recorded masterclass. We lean on masterclasses a lot in our own agency for ourselves and our clients because it works really well. Could be something along those lines. Maybe it's a live event. But we're going to lean on this kind of consideration stage. And so in this funnel, we have this nurture to video rate, which is the consideration stage that I was just talking about. And that's at, I set it at 40%. This is what we generally see from people who are in the funnel taking that immediate action within, let's say, the first 2 weeks. So conversion rate of 10%. And then of that 10%, we're saying targeting about 40% of those to do the next thing, which is that step around a consideration stage. We just actually had an entire episode about booking demos using a very similar process to this. So you can go back and listen to the previous episode, and it will walk you through a little bit more detail of what that funnel, what that campaign might look like. So that would mean that we have 40% of those leads, which are 40 people who are engaged and they've clicked and now they're in this consideration point. What happens next? We continue to nurture. We continue to move them into the next phase. The next stage of that buyer's journey is now decision stage. So awareness stage, they have this problem. They're unaware of who you are. They're not following your brand at all, but you have come into play as a solution or as a way to help solve a problem. So you're giving them a resource to solve that awareness stage issue. Now they're in this consideration stage, which is, okay, I see that there's solutions here. I'm going to start seeing like what the best option might be, and I'm going to start taking it more seriously. So they're watching your webinars, they're viewing case studies, they're reading results, they're looking up reviews of your brands and so on. And so now that they're ready to start deciding what that action is going to be to solve it, they are ready to book a call with you. All right. And so what we're saying here is that decision stage, in that follow-up, we're looking at about 30% as a targeted rate of people who are inside of that consideration stage, about 30% to target to book a call with us. So for those of you that can't see my screen, what we're looking at is a budget of $5,000, $5 a click to give us 1,000 clicks. Awareness stage conversion offer, 100 leads. So a 5,000 budget, 1,000 clicks, 100 leads, 40% of those taking action into the consideration stage, which is 40 contacts watching our webinar or watching our masterclass and so on. Of those 40, 30% convert into the decision stage and book a call. So where are we at now? That's 12 people. Out of these 1,000 clicks, we're down to 12 people to book a call. Okay. And you can start to see this becomes a lot more realistic when we start to think about it in terms of those numbers. And of those 12 people now, it's up to your sales team. It's up to you. How good are you at closing? A really good benchmark would be to aim for 30%. And everybody's across the board. Some people are like, well, when I get people at this stage and I can actually talk to them, I'm going to close them no matter what. Our sales team's great. We only get really highly qualified people. Awesome. So move your benchmark up all the way up to 80%, whatever feels good to you. We're saying here 20%. So it's a little bit below what we would target for a SaaS industry average, which is probably better for estimating anyway, so that you can kind of shoot it out of the park. And so what that means is we're closing 2 to 3 deals. All right. You know what? Let's just stick with 2 deals. We've closed 2 deals. If you are a software or a service selling $5,000 a month, that's your target. That's what you're generally licensing your service or your software out for. That is $60,000 a year in annual recurring revenue. And if you close 2 of those, you're at $120,000 of annual recurring revenue. And if you close 3, you're at $180,000, right? So you're at $180,000 of annual recurring revenue from this one ad campaign that you spent $5,000 just in ad budget to run. Okay, you might be hiring somebody to run the ads for you. You might need creative and copy and someone to manage the inner workings of the ad platform, and that's great. But what you are sitting at right now is $120,000 to $180,000 return on investment for a $5,000 ad budget. And now you are running that for 12 months and you're optimizing it and you're tweaking it and you're converting it. And if you're doing your other marketing things that we're talking about on other tips and strategies in these episodes, you're improving your conversion rates and your nurturing and the website functionalities and all these different things to improve even your calls booked and make all of these conversion rates go higher over time. So, you can easily see how running this, let's say you closed $120,000 from 2 contacts. And I get it. Some people are, you guys might have a year-long sales process. I get it. But you have to put people in somewhere. Okay, so $5,000 this month gets you $120,000 a year from now. As long as you're tracking that and you can see that, that's awesome, because you're going to continue to run that $5,000 a month budget every single month. Okay, and so now you're generating, what is that, like over $2 million in revenue just from this budget, just from this one campaign. And here's the other thing. Once you know it's working well, if I know that this is generating X number of calls, if this $5,000 gets me 2 calls, I'm going to spend $10,000 the next month, or maybe $15,000, or wherever I end up feeling more comfortable. Because if that, just to test it out, because if that stays true, I'm gladly investing money into something that I know works. Okay. So once again, just to recap here where I'm at, we have the ad funnel, strategy that we just went through. If I break it down just really quickly again, what is included in this ad funnel? Number 1, we have a targeted ad. Has to be a hook story offer. It has to be compelling enough to get people to engage. Number 2, we're sending them to a compelling lead magnet, an awareness stage offer. Number 3, so that they convert. Number 3, we have a tailored nurturing consideration stage offer that we're trying to get them to engage with something that's helpful and will help solve more problems for them, but also help them build a little bit more trust with us. And so we're looking at a webinar strategy, a masterclass strategy, and so on. And then number 4, finally, we're getting them into a demo or a strategy session. And so that's it, guys. That's the ad funnel strategy. That's how we're looking at boosting traffic on our website in other ways that are not just relying on SEO and thinking in terms of website being that kind of a functionality. Your website is involved at every single step of the way of this process that I just walked through with you. And if you're curious about how this might work with you, or where you might be failing in different areas inside of your website, or where you're actually just really, really awesome and you want to validate that, go ahead and go to our website and go to webcanopystudio.com/assessment. Take our website conversion assessment. Answer these 30 questions on your own. And as a result of where you're at, we will give you it actually just pops out right away. Your own customized website report that's going to give you a checklist of what you should work on, how things are impacting your CRM along the way, resources for what you might want to look at, and you'll be able to see exactly how you're faring. So I think that's it. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.